Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wheaton today. It's a wonderful day, a beautiful day to celebrate the career of Coach Bob, Brother Bob Roscoe. And, I know, but we're celebrating you. It's going to turn into a roast now, isn't it? All right. My name's John Sayak. I'm the Director of Athletics, and obviously it's clear that I was not a softball or a volleyball player, so I'm just want to make sure to welcome you all and just say a few words on what Coach Bob has meant to the athletic department as a whole. I think when you look at Bob's career, there's only one individual in our department that has a longer tenure than Bob, and that's our tennis coach, Lynn Miller. And I think when you, if you haven't really been, no, you, why are you killing me? I'm trying to talk here. We only have so much time, and there's a lot of people that want to talk. You're killing me. Fine, Louise as well. Sorry, Louise, I know you're here. I apologize. So. But I think it's important to note, unless you've been in a part of a college program or any program, what it means to have a loyal and dedicated assistant coach. And I think, you know, it's something that I never really appreciated until I was actually in that role. And it's knowing that, you know, if you think about the structure of a team, you have a head coach that has to make hard decisions, playing time, cuts, who to recruit, how to handle situations on the team, and clearly no matter what decision you make, someone might not be happy, which means the assistant coach gets to deal with all the behind-the-scenes drama. So I think when you think about Coach Bob, and for 25, 26 years, first with the volleyball program and then with the softball program, he has been a loyal and dedicated individual for all of the women that are here today. And I'm sure that I'm sure you've had to put out quite a few fires and then filter the information as you took it to Gina or Rachel over the years. But, yeah, right. But I just, you know, I just want you to know that your dedication has inspired the entire athletic department. You've always been supportive of all the programs, just not the ones you've coached. And I know Chad's not here today, but he sends his regards as well. And you were always very loyal and dedicated through the years Chad was here, and certainly since I've been here. I want you to know we love you, and anything we can do for you, Carolyn, we're here for you. And now you're going to get to hear from the rest of them. So, yeah, money would be great. I got you a jacket. I thought that'd be good enough, but we'll work on it. How about that? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Powers and the rest of our alums, and thank you all for being here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here, all of our friends, families. I realize that our 6th president of the college, former President Dale Marshall, is here. Thank you very much. Former deans too. Louise, forgive me if I'm missing anyone, but we really appreciate you all being here. I'd like to take a few minutes to not talk about Coach Bob, but to acknowledge our softball alums that have come. Volleyball, we want to thank you all as well, alumni and current team, we really appreciate it. But alumni, as I call your name, if you would just at least give us a wave and let us know who you are. I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute. Starting with the wiser generations. In the class of 1999, Lisa Yenish. The class of 1997, Diana Curry, Ingrid Abood, and Randy Kareen. In the class of 1998, Kristen Hedrick. Class of 99, Lisa Burns Lesser. Tina and Sarah Swanson. Class of 2000, Kristen Conlon. Class of 2001, Jill Darcy Anzalone. Katie Zuman. Class of 2002, Kate Penzino O'Leary. Lucy Campbell Pelsma, excuse me. The class of 2003, Rachel Powers Kelleher. The class of 2005, Kate Malloy Koravu. Class of 2008, Suzanne Frasca. Jody Moreau. The class of 2009, Brady Benton. 2010, Andrea Bagley. The class of 2011, Kristen Hunt, Marissa Hoboken, Katie Selka. Rachel Merrick Plumbar, 2 weeks off of your honeymoon. Thanks for coming. The class of 2012, Valerie Tratner, Amanda Poplaski, and Leslie Warren. The class of 2013, Amanda Drury, Megan Roy, Alana Monahan. VK, so I think you came in late. Vanessa Campbell? Yeah. There you are. The class of 14, I'm sorry. Allie Baker, Ashley Brillin. That's enough. And in the coaching division, spending 19 years as head coach, Gina Loudenberg. Forgive me if there are a few of you who came in after check-in, but we really do appreciate you all being here. I'd also like to take a few minutes to introduce your future alumni, the current Wheaton softball team. The class of 2018 from Caldwell, New Jersey, Alexis Hevrilla. From Torrance, California, currently playing volleyball, Allison Cox. Class of 2017 from Lincoln, Rhode Island, Emily Bouthelette. From Norwell, Mass, Morgan Walsh. From Walpole, Mass, Jess Cochran. From Franklin, Mass, Becca Seifert, up on the dugout. From Boston, Mass, also on the dugout, Mary DeMora. From Cumberland, Maine, Danny Sumino. From Seekonk, Mass, Caitlin Andrade. From Braintree, Mass, Emily Lambiase. And from Milford, Mass, Caroline Fairbanks. In the class of 2016, from Lincoln, Rhode Island, and currently studying in Australia, Captain Emma Hart. From Acton, Mass, Captain Maddie Hatch. From Rehoboth, Mass, also in Australia, Jillian Rocha. From Wooddale, Illinois, Kelly Welch. From Framingham, Mass, Erin Deneen. From Woodstock, Connecticut, Sarah Morrow. From the Sunshine State, Jupiter, Florida, Marissa Tomadio. In the class of 2015, from Plymouth, Mass, Noel Christmas. And from Boston, Mass, from two-year captain Emily Baratti. Glad I don't have to read that every day. Okay, on to the reason we're all here, to celebrate and honor Coach Bob. In thinking about what I wanted to say today, or should I say what kind of funny stories and secrets I wanted to spill about Coach Bob, I started to think about your nickname, Brother. It's an old one, but then again, so are you. Nicknames were once established as a way of being affectionate without compromising masculinity. A nickname gives us a chance to lighten the mood and show people that we're up for a laugh. Sounds about right for Coach Bob. But more importantly, a nickname is a term of endearment, love, and is an extremely large part of who you are. In the mid-90s, you became Brother. And over the last 19 years, you have evolved into Coach Bob, Coach Brother Bob, Brother Bob, you've been Bro, Coach Bro, Broski, there's an alum that calls you Bubba, and there's one that refers to you as Bald Bastard, Randy. And lately it's Bro Man. Each of these names signifies a lifetime of memories and a long-lasting career. Brother, you have touched so many of our lives over the years, and we are all honored to be a part of the Brotherhood. If I could add one last thing, and then I'll shut up and pass the mic. Coach Bob, I want to thank you for a piece of advice that you gave me early in my coaching career. You told me to be myself. Don't feel like you have to be like anyone else, because it won't work, and the players will certainly see right through you. As simple as that statement is, I have never forgotten it, and I believe that you have made me a better coach. It was a pleasure to have been coached by you, and now to be coaching with you. I look forward to many more seasons by your side. Thank you.
Hi everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Maddie Hatch. I'm a junior captain for the team. The current team and some recent alums wanted to take a minute to remember some funny brother moments. As you may know, Brother likes to work with the outfield. He always harps on our crow hops. So from now on, crow hops will always be known as bro hops. All of us outfielders love our outfield arm bumps and powwows before the games. Brother is always down for secret bargaining of gum for Rubio barrels and any other kind of sugar-free candy. I know for a fact that one of our teammates, Noelle, loves sugar. Brother would always give her candy and Slim Jims before games. He also taught Noelle how to do the book, and they would have interesting conversations during outfield warm-ups. Brother, do you remember that time you shoved a full bowl of ice cream in her face freshman year? You got her good. Speaking of food, one time Brother and Aaron pied Phil in the face last year. There are many, and I mean many, Florida memories. The outfield was doing pre-game, and Brother hit a super long ball to Becca. She crossed into and broke the entire outfield fence. We made many holes in that fence that day, and we really totally didn't mean to. Another Florida memory includes riding in the van with Brother. Brother insisted that we play thrift shop against our will, and then got very mad at us because it was so vulgar. Hey Brother, remember this? One of the favorite Brother moments was listening to I Can Transform You in his van to Florida. He always wanted to listen to it. In Florida, Brother gave Allie the game ball during her senior year after she pitched, and we won 2-1 against Kane, who is currently ranked number 25. Emily Berardi always laughs when she thinks of him coming into her Florida house and telling Danny that he was going to pop a cap in her, and he actually said it. Speaking of Emily Berardi, Emily and Mary are called Big Bird and Little Bird, nicknames invented by Brother. Now they're just hyphenated to BB and LB. Brother always made the outfield work hard, but have fun at the same time. We all have spirit animals that we came up with last year, which we can't really remember, so we're going to have to do it again. Brother always keeps us on our toes, and he always says, "Looks like how." As we all know, Brother's a funny man. Brother out of the blue would always yell, "Yeah, Brillin, we're in a fight. You better watch out." And then there's his obsession with Cracker Barrel. The man loves it. Jenny and Jill would always ask Brother questions all the time. Questions in the form of, what would you do if, or would you be mad if? Then they would say, if I stuffed you in that trash can and rolled you down the hill, or if we poured all this Gatorade on your head and stuffed your nose with gummy bears. One time, Renee's throws in from the outfield were just awful, not going anywhere near they were supposed to. Brother had to jump out of the way a couple times. The third time he yelled out, "Renee, I don't have a glove." That always stood out to her. I guess looking back at it, he could have meant it sarcastically, but she doesn't think so. That wasn't the way he was. He always thinks the best in people. Then again, that would mean Renee was purposely throwing the ball into him, which was certainly not the case. From that story, Brother doesn't have a glove became a joke, and it still is. He'd always remind us when we had a bad throw that went close to him, especially when we had to do push-ups as a consequence. Warm-ups with Brother are always funny stories. There's never a dull moment with him. Brother, do you remember that one time Renee was annoying you and you just said, "Bye-bye, Renee," during the "Are you kidding me" drill and sent the ball flying? That was very funny. He's also passionate about the game. Remember last year when he won our first game for us?
Yeah.
Do you also remember that time he got excited just before the Springfield game?
Oh,
He fired us up for that one.
oh yeah.
He also put a number 2 up for Allie in the dugout cubby before the end of her senior year because he knew how badly she wanted one. Brother is kind, generous, and always thinking about the team and how we can do better. We appreciate everything you've done for us and can't wait to see what else you have in store. Thank you. I now would like to introduce former player Dina Swanson.
Dina, make us proud, Dina. You're representing right now. Judge. No pressure.
First of all, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dina. That's Ingrid. She wants to hear her name again. My name is Dina Swanson, formerly Dina Tessera in my Wheaton days. And for those that don't know me, you don't realize that I really like to talk. And for those of you that do know me, you already know. So you're not going to expect anything less than this getting a little long-winded. But I'll keep it short because Lucy told me I have 7 minutes. there's some people that are, it's killing them to stand here. So when I first heard that we were doing this, I was really excited because Coach Bob is one of those people that you meet and he will do anything for you. So when I thought we were going to have an opportunity to do something for him, I was really excited. And then when someone asked me if I'd be willing to speak, I was honored, because if you look at the number of years that Coach Bob has been at Wheaton, working with both the volleyball team and also the softball teams, he's touched the lives of many athletes that have come through Wheaton and the lives of many families. So to be able to be one of the people chosen to stand up here and pay tribute to all his hard work and dedication to this school, it truly is an honor. And I think they couldn't shut me up anyway, even if they tried. So when I was preparing what to say, and I'm starting to think now after seeing the good job everyone's done, that maybe I should have wrote some things down. I thought about a saying that I always screw it up, but if I do, just don't correct me, because it'll make the rest of the speech not make any sense. But people come into your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And I believe that until I was preparing for this speech and I thought about Coach Bob, because I think Coach Bob has come into our lives for all three of those. The first is obvious. He came into our lives for a season, whether it was a volleyball season or a softball season. He came into our lives to coach us for that season and to be our coach. However, as we all know here today, Coach Bob didn't come into our lives just to be our coach. He came into our lives for a reason during the time that we were here at Wheaton. I think the reasons are twofold. The first part is Coach Bob was always willing to have a good time, pull pranks, and remind us that we were playing a game we loved. That no matter if it was volleyball or softball, and no matter how much we wanted to win and how much we were preparing for a big game, the focus was always on enjoying something we had done since we were little. So when things got a little too serious, and without getting Gina too mad, Coach Bob was always there to bring us back to reality and remind us why we were doing what we were doing. The second part goes right off of that, in that Coach Bob was also always there to let us know when enough was enough. And we listened, because when Coach Bob gave you the hairy eyeball, you knew he was warning you that if you kept going, you were either going to be running or doing push-ups, and Gina was not going to be happy. So, although Coach Bob did come into our lives as a coach for the seasons that we played for Wheaton, and he came into our lives to show us to enjoy the game and to keep us out of trouble, Coach Bob has come into our lives for a lifetime, or we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be paying tribute to someone who has given so much of his time and energy over the years. The Brotherhood started, I want to say in 1995 or 1996, and 96. And I'll explain to you, and everyone will understand because you're a lot of female athletes here. We had 14 people on a team. That's 14 women that did not always get along. I don't know why. However, there was two distinct groups on this team. And I'll compare it to big sisters, little sisters. The big sisters wanted to ride in the van and they wanted quiet. They were going to read. They were going to do their homework. And then there was the other van, which I was a part of, and we were fairly obnoxious, and we wanted to listen to music, and we wanted to have a good time. And somebody had to drive us to the game. And let me tell you, Randy and Coach Launerberg were not going to drive that van. So, Coach Bob took us on, and we became the brothers. That van of people became the brothers. And it wasn't a clique, it wasn't an exclusive group, because before you know it, Coach Bob was incorporating the whole team into the Brotherhood. And he would ask us, you know, is it okay? I think the first person outside the van, he asked us, you know, is it okay to let Diana in the Brotherhood? I think she's a brother. I said, all right, we'll let her in the Brotherhood. Before you know it, at the end of that year, we were all brothers. And now, 13 years later, we're all here because we're all brothers. And we're all part of the Brotherhood. And we're here to say thank you to a great man who has given so much of himself. And we're all in it for a lifetime. Thank you. Sorry, I'm supposed to introduce Kate. She has a new last name since she got married, Penzino. I just don't know the new last name.
When I first came to Wheaton, I of course had to learn the ropes like every other freshman. Learning the ropes included arriving to practice a half hour early, touching third base on our way out to the fields, and never saying I'm sorry. It also included learning that you were called brother by the team. It didn't take me long to realize that you were not in fact a brother of a religious order, and that you pronounced it brother, not brother. It also didn't take me long to learn that you were a special kind of guy. You had your special forearm bump. Not quite sure how that got started, but it was something we only did with you. Other teams and coaches may have done it, but in my mind, you did it first, and everyone else copied you. The forearm bump was how you said hello, and how you congratulated us on a big play or a big win. It became tradition. Even still today, you greet us this way. For never forgetting tradition, we thank you. Your van was a special one. I unfortunately was not one of the lucky ones who got to ride in it, which I promise after all these years I've forgiven you for. But it should come as to no surprise to you that everyone wanted to ride in your van. For creating the very much wanted and needed environment for us, we thank you. Every athlete that has gone through Wheaton softball knows that it wasn't easy. We all had moments where we needed to vent and to let some frustrations out. Whether you were always there to listen. We knew we could talk openly and freely, and we knew you would hear us, and that honestly made all the difference. For all those times, we thank you. On the field, we played hard and were serious, but off the field, we had a lot of fun and enjoyed a lot of laughs, and you were right in the middle of it all. You laughed with us, you laughed at us, and you were always ready with a good zinger. For all those laughs, we thank you. There's really no way we can repay you for the countless times you've helped us over the years. But one way we would like to help you is by honoring and raising money for you on our annual Cans for Cancer Day this coming April. There's one thing Wheaton College softball players learn from our years together, is that we are a family. During good times and bad, we are there for each other, something I know firsthand. I hope that today and every day forward, you know that your Wheaton College family is always there for you, with a forearm bump, a van ride, an ear to listen, and a laugh, all that you were for us. When I look back at Wheaton College softball, I remember the wins and the losses, the ups and the downs, the good and the bad. What I remember most is the camaraderie, the jokes, and the long-lasting friendships, all of which you are a part of. And I know every athlete who you have coached shares the same feeling. All athletes have a coach, but only we, as Wheaton College athletes, know what it's like to have a brother. I'm honored to have called you my coach, my brother, and my friend. We love you and we thank you.
O'Brien, class of 1999. This is Kim Chermasino, aka Kim Bushenfeld. Side note, we work together and she's in a managerial position. We were supposed to write this together, but she worked me so hard this week that we couldn't get together to write it. So she's here to hold me up. She graduated in the class of 1995, also a volleyball alum. So some of you might have been here 6 years ago for Coach Gina's retirement ceremony. I was the pregnant one who cried during my tribute to Coach. As you can see, I'm still pregnant. And I can tell you, although I will try not to cry today, I probably will. I'm a product of Coach Bob and Coach Gina by way of my official parents, Hugh and Jerry McGlone. That's my mom. Bob and Gina were in many respects my parents for the 4 years that I was here at Wheaton, as they were to so many of us here today, or here with us in spirit. but separated by miles or conflicting schedules. Everybody on the volleyball side wishes you well. Knowing firsthand of the pride a parent feels when measured by the kindness that their children display, and looking around today at all of us here for you, I think you've done quite well in helping to raise all of us. So thank you, Coach Bob and Coach Gina. And thank you, Wheaton Softball, for taking such good care of Coach and for including us volleyball kids along the way. Your kindness has been inspiring. I'd also like to thank Coach Letourneau for being so flexible with the alumni volleyball match and for encouraging current and former student athletes to be here for Coach Bob. Thank you. I remember Coach Bob from as far back as high school, Brockton Juniors, Wheaton Volleyball Camp. He was in the volleyball circuit south of Boston, and eventually he wound up calling me over the phone for recruiting calls, and later to check in on my preseason training. I remember clearly, I'm not proud of this, but I remember clearly a time when he called me and questioned politely but pointedly why it was taking me, a 17-year-old competitive athlete from a really good high school team, why was it taking me 12 full minutes to run a single mile?
Oh, come here, you.
Puzzled by his inquiry, I replied, "Why? How fast am I supposed to run?" I had been timing myself inside on a treadmill set to whatever it was set to, probably while listening to a love ballad by Boyz II Men. I'm old. Coach Bob pushed me to challenge myself to get outside, onto a track, and to run as fast as I could, and then get back to him with my time. I'm proud to say that I completed the sub 8-minute mile required of us that first grueling week of my first preseason, and the 3 grueling preseasons that followed. I always think of this when I think of Coach Bob. Sorry. He helped to make me strong. He helped to keep me pushing for more out of myself. I met him early mornings in the gym, and then as he'd pile on the weight to the bars for me to lift, I'd think, how much am I supposed to lift? And he'd be there, glaring at me, and I'd do it. Coach Bob pushed all of us to never give up, to push for more, and to go right at him. We were tough, we were strong, and we were prepared. We did well. Coach Bob saw our team to the Sweet 16, one of the most memorable and proudest moments I've had as a part of any team. In addition to learning from Coach Bob as a student, I learned from Bob as a peer. We coached together at Salve Regina University in Newport, Rhode Island, helped to shape a brand new program. We'd alternate driving down the hour plus it took us to get there, and all along the way we'd talk about our team, how we could improve, what kind of music we liked, books to read, family stuff, life stuff. It was fun. Our team struggled. We were not used to that, but the team was strong in so many ways because they were fighters and they were trying really, really hard. We taught them well, and they are all good and kind people today. Many of them have reached out through me to wish you well. One thing I'd be remiss if I didn't share, and that Claudia Albuquerque asked me to pass on specifically. Former staff, and those of you who have reputation, you may want to block your ears for this one. During my particular era at Wheaton, as a team, we really used to like to moon each other. A lot. So, the most memorable moon happened when several of us squished into the back seat of one of the 2 vans we traveled in. We identified our target, we were ready to go, we mooned, and we laughed, hysterically. And then, we screamed. It was not Coach Bob's van. It was just a random white van. Don't worry, Suddy. I'm sure back then the vans weren't marked. I hope, Coach Bob, that you're able to appreciate just how much each of us, your kids in so many ways, have appreciated all that you've done for us. I thank you personally for pushing me as hard as you did. It made me strong. I rely on that strength. See? When life takes challenging turns. Thank you for helping me how to learn how to coach, for the car rides and the laughs. I enjoyed our time together. My hope for you is that you take all that you taught us, to be strong, to be tough, to be a fighter, to be humble, to be kind. And that all of those things and more will serve you well in your fight, and that you'll always know that you're not alone. You have hundreds of fans, teammates, and coaches encouraging you to go right at them.
Okay, now it's time for all the things you want to know about Coach Bob, but nobody has the guts to tell you. I think the older you get, they've got me crying already. So I know I want to just thank all of you for coming. I know for Bob and I, seeing you all is the most important thing to us. Of course, the wins were fun, weren't they? But we always made it a pact that we would mold young women to become great women. I'm sorry. And I think we did a pretty good job of that, Bob. But I want to take you back just a little ways. When I first got here in 1990, I guess it was already, all that we had was Clark Center. That was our athletic facility, and Dale and Dean Sue remember it fondly. Haas was just being built. So when I first walked in that gym, I'm like, boy, this is kind of a small gym. But, you know, I think we could do something with it. And I asked Chad, I said, well, am I supposed to go find an assistant coach, or, you know, what am I going to do here? I'm from Colorado, so I didn't know anybody. And he said, well, there's a guy here, he's already been here, and he's going to help you. Well, long story short, you know, it was Coach Bob. And I can always remember the first time we met. I was brought in to resurrect a softball program and a volleyball program that had been in disarray. And Bob said, well, Coach, you know, the volleyball team was 3-22 in the past 2 years. I'm like, oh, okay. They didn't tell me it was that bad. Remember that? So our first match in Clark Center, I think the only ones there was Bob and I, the team, and the trainer, Gail Olson. I don't think anybody knew there was a volleyball team on campus. So that was a little unnerving for both of us. We had to keep each other company and look at each other, and obviously that first year was a little tough. We won 6 matches. We thought, hey, we're on a roll, right? The following 2 years, our first recruiting class, we then went on to win 3 New 8 tournaments, conference championships in a row with Kim and Aaron, and those first couple classes. And it was kind of interesting because the first year we went down to MIT, you remember that? We got beat faster than the bus ride down. And half an hour. So we got to MIT, got dressed, got on the floor in a half an hour. I looked at him, I'm like, we're done. So that was, that was how we started our career together. And he always kept me smiling. Even that day, he's like, it's okay, today's today, tomorrow it'll be better. 2 years later, we went into their house and kicked their and won our first NUMAC championship. So that was it was great to see the evolution of that program. And we were there together for 10 years. And the funny thing about it too is that I give Carolyn credit because I was so cheap trying to save money. You know, we didn't have much money back then. Hopefully the budget's better now. But we had to fundraise a lot. So Bob and I always shared a room. And Carolyn was great. You know, they used to call me the other wife. So that's right. And we fought just like it. When he'd snore, I'd throw a box of Kleenex at him. So, you know, people thought that's pretty weird. They're sharing a room.
Well, if they only knew, you know, it was just because I was cheap and I wanted to save money so that our kids could have their own room. So anyway, we did that for 19 years pretty much, shared a room and shared a van, and then we got to the Sweet 16, as Aaron said, in 1997, and at that point coaching two sports became a little tough for us, and then Bob joined me with softball, which was fantastic, and we kind of got on a little bit of a roll there too. We had 10 conference championships, 7 NCAAs, and 3 World Series, so it wasn't bad, right, brother? You know, and as John said, assistant coaches are hard to find. I went through several here myself, but he was always there for me for 19 years. And I'm not the easiest to get along with, right?
That's crazy talk. No.
He was always the one that the players could go to and get loving, kind words and a pat on the back and encouragement to not give up when I was beating them down so hard. And more importantly than that, he was there for me the countless hours, Carolyn knows because he was never home. He'd sit with me and I'd either be griping that we lost the game sometimes, but most of the time we'd be celebrating. But the time we spent together in those 19 years was amazing. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better assistant coach, a better friend. Both of them in my life changed my life forever and will forever always touch the lives of everybody here. So Bob, you and Carolyn are two of my closest and dearest friends. I think about you, pray for you every day from Colorado, kind of wave. Remind you to kick their butts every day, like you always do, which is good. And just so thankful that you are part of my life and for all those years. I love you.
My name is Lucy Campbell, Pelsma, and I was class of 2002. I had the pleasure of playing for Coach Loudenberg and, of course, Brother Bob. First, I want to thank Carolyn. Whereas I was a student here at Wheaton, and my 3 big responsibilities were to go to class, come to practice, and go to dinner, Brother had so many more responsibilities in terms of working a full-time job, having a family, and being an assistant coach for us, which is a full-time job in itself. So, Carolyn, thank you on behalf of all of Wheaton Athletics for allowing us, Brother Bob. We appreciate your support. And we appreciate you coming to Florida and coming to all of our games. So it means a lot to us, so thank you. I just have a quick story about Brother Bob and what he's meant to me. Over the course of the 4 years that I played softball. So one of the big rules of our softball team was if you struck out looking, meaning you did not swing, then that meant A, you were out, and B, it also meant that the softball team had to run a sprint. And I don't know, maybe the softball team has changed now, but we don't, softball players typically don't like to run. So you never wanted to strike out without swinging. And it may have happened to me a couple of times in my career here at Wheaton. And unfortunately for me, I was a left-handed batter. So when the ball came by, strike 3, I didn't swing. Not only had I let myself down, I let my team down because they had to run a sprint. But also, my first look up was at Coach Loudenberg in the coach's box down at third base with her hand on her hip being like, what would you say, Coach? Maybe I shouldn't say it, but you knew, like, are you freaking kidding me, is what comes to mind 15 years later. So I felt about this big walking back to what seems like a really short distance, but when you strike out looking, it's a really long distance. But Brother Bob was always there, pat you on the back and say, you got it next time. And that is Brother Bob for us and for the Wheaton College softball team. So thank you, brother, for being there. Brother, it is with extreme honor that I am here to present you. My gosh, I'm pregnant, so this is why I may cry. Similar to Aaron, with a plaque that will hang permanently inside the Wheaton College softball dugout, and it will read, the Wheaton College softball program presents Coach Robert Brother Bob Roscoe with a Lifetime Achievement Award for his commitment and dedication to the Wheaton College softball program. It includes all of your career highlights, which there are so many here to reference, but it includes the World Series, 3 World Series appearances, and lots of other great volleyball highlights that were already mentioned. And at the bottom of the plaque, it will say, thanks for being a brother to us all. So thank you, Brother Bob. Thank you, Carolyn, very much.
Again, thank you everyone for being here, coming out and listening to us long-winded people. 2 quick things. All of our alums volleyball, we want you to, and current players, can we come out and take an enormous picture with our current alums as well? Then we would like a softball one. And then it's time to play and eat. So thank you again.